Did you know that back in the day, Microsoft tried to create a mascot for the Xbox to rival Sonic the Hedgehog, Crash Bandicoot, Super Mario, etc.? Because in a lot of ways, the Xbox console line is sort of a more of teenage to adult plus model. I mean, very often it's more about big muscly dudes with armor and guns. I mean, your Master Chiefs, your Marcus Phoenixes, etc. It's a game console that's more focused on teenage plus games rather than kids games, and in a lot of ways Microsoft has been trying to remedy that for a while now. And with Xbox dabbling to create an iconic character for some new platform based fun and antics, that experiment led to Blinx The Timesweeper, a game I've been trying to play for quite a few years now, and actually played a demo of when I was a kid, maybe 15 years ago maybe? I'm so old. We start things off with Blinx himself telling us about where he works and who he is. Blinx and the rest of his colleagues are known as Timesweepers, who are essentially the janitorial service for time space, who all work in what's known as the Time Factory. And it's completely run by cats. Anthropomorphic, jacket-wearing, time-manipulating cats. However, not all is well as the TomTom gang of pigs start pilfering dimension B1Q64 catchy. Get it? It's like cat. Of all its time crystals, which are created by glitches in the flow of time. And they're made of people? Alright, stick with me here guys, come on. Give it a chance. Plus, if the crystals are left alone for too long, they turn into monsters, which can disrupt the dimensions and cause havoc to the flow of time. With that in mind, dimension B1Q64 is cut off from the Time Factory to stop the spread of chaos infecting other dimensions. That is after Blinx, in an act of, lust? Maybe? Decides to jump into the dimension and sort things out himself for the sake of helping the captured Princess Lena, who is apparently the ruler of B1Q64? Dude, is that really appropriate? I mean, she's what? 10 maybe? How old is Blinx? Is he like 10 years old? Do cat lives still apply? Like, you know how a cat, when it's in its lifespan, is a 10-year-old cat like a 40-year-old cat? How does that work? Is that guy from Star Fox? Is he 10? I'm so confused! Now, booting up the first level, we get to try out Blinx's abilities in a very safe environment. Blinx has the standard control stuff: jump, double jump, backflip, side jump, plus he can use his trusty time hoover to suck up objects in the environment and shoot them back out to kill monsters. To complete the level, Blinx has to kill all the monsters and get to the gate. However, the main draw of this game is the fact that Blinx can use an assortment of time powers by collecting time crystals. A good way to think of it is it's like Bejeweled. If you collect 3 of a kind of one symbol, you'll earn that symbol's corresponding power. If you collect 4, you'll get 2. If you pick up 3 or 4 types of symbols that don't match, you'll get nothing. Crystals litter all of the maps, and a lot of them are placed in areas where you'll need them. Plus, when you kill enemies, they'll drop a random assortment of them as well. What are the powers? Well, you have Rewind, which is useful for reconstructing broken bridges or statues. Fast Forward, which speeds everything up and gives you an extra hit point. Pause, which, Yep. Record, which allows you to make a temporary clone of yourself, which you can control future actions, which replay when the time stops. Slow, which, yeah. And if you collect the heart symbols, you'll pick up retries, which I'll explain later. These power-ups really make the game a lot of fun, as it's really cool to mess around with enemies in the environment using combinations of the abilities. However, at the start of the game, you can only carry 3 of them at a time, and you'll need to buy additional time slots in the local shops to get more. No, madam, no, I am not a furry, no. As you play each level, you can find gold on the map, and any junk you've sucked up and kept is converted to cash. You can also buy new and improved hoovers that shoot fire, shoot ice, or even pick up heavier objects. And you can even buy additional space to pick up stuff, buy more retry slots, and even new costumes for Blinx. However, the big problem here is that you don't keep anything after buying it except for the upgrades. Want to buy that expensive costume? Well, you better hold on to it, because if you buy a new one, you'll have to buy the old one for the same price again. Now, in total there are 3 levels per world in a game hub of 8 worlds total. So that's 24 levels total with 9 boss battles. There's a lot of variety in the settings of the game, such as city streets, snowy mountains, sparkly caves, and fiery steel mills, but the cool thing is how Blinx reacts to certain areas of the game. Like how in the snowy levels he shivers when he's cold, and when he's near the steel mill furnaces, he puts his goggles on to protect his eyes. This guy. I mean, just listen to his walk sound effect. Aww. Plus, every level in the game also has 3 to 4 cat medals, which need to be found tucked away in the most annoying or hard to reach places. If you collect enough, you can unlock artwork, silly animations like this, and if you A+ all the levels, you get a little cinematic of the dev team. And if you get every single cat medal, you get the ultimate Timesweeper, which can do everything in the game. Which is nice, but way too little too late, as by the time you get it, there's no point really having it. And to be honest, it takes until the end parts of the game for the pace to start getting at the right level. Starting off, you really have to scrounge for power-ups and cash to get new upgrades, but to counteract this, the final levels of the game are crushingly difficult. And just to let you know, Blinx can only get hit once before passing out. That's why we have the retry hearts in the top corner. And you're gonna need them, especially if you get stuck in a death loop. I mean, to be honest, I think the difficulty is probably the reason why people don't really remember this game very fondly. I mean, a quick Google search later and this is what I found from the testimonials of frustrated gamers. But honestly, I don't think this game is terrible. I actually like it quite a bit. Maybe it's just because I'm actually able to do some of the trickier segments like this. But I genuinely think this game is a nice change of pace from a lot of the platformers I've played in the past. You get to use your environment to hurt your enemies, maneuver impassable barriers to your progress using the time mechanics, and fight some pretty okay boss fights. And I mean the music. It's top notch. Though I will say parts of the game just don't work that well. The final boss is essentially a boss rush followed by a tricky time power battle. Some areas of the game can stop you in their tracks if you don't have the relevant power. Levels end after 10 minutes, so if you're looking for cat medals and can't find one, you usually have to start the whole thing again, and the camera can be a pain in the arse. But at the end of the game, we defeat the final boss, the princess thanks Blinx, and everyone in the Time Factory rejoices that dimension B1Q64 is saved. Credits roll, then unroll, and the princess gives Blinx a big hug for all the work he's done. Oh, isn't that nice? But with all that said, that was Blinx The Timesweeper. I actually really enjoyed this game, and I don't think it deserves to be on the same pedestal as other games like, say, Crash Bandicoot or Mario 64, but I don't think it deserves the ire it gets and the reaction a lot of people give it that seems to be prevalent, at least searching online in other video reviews. I reckon if you can tackle the difficulty, or even just play through without getting all the cat medals, it's not that bad, and I think there's a lot of charm to this game and a lot of really unique things. Like, I love how the guy who created Blinx was the guy who designed Dr. Robotnik and Sonic. There's so many little elements to this that just make it shine. If only it weren't so frustrating at certain points with a couple of minor flaws that seem to be glaring for a lot of people, but for me weren't all that bad. Now with that all said and done, I've really got to get going on the next video. I've got a dash, so you guys stay there for a minute. And you stay there, I'll be back in a little while, maybe a week or two, and I'll have a new video for you. You ready? Okay, just give me a minute. Bye.